Chelsea's opening goal came from a costly mistake, and it was forced by structure, not luck. JD Canvo received the ball inside Chelsea's pressing trap and was immediately closed down by two blue shirts. With no clear passing lane, he was forced into a rushed, overhit pass. Estêvão read the situation early, anticipated the error, and sprinted onto the loose ball before finishing calmly to give Chelsea the lead in the first half. A clear example of elite game intelligence and pressing execution. Chelsea went on to beat Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst Park. Rosenior set his side up in a 4-3-3, prioritizing compactness in midfield and aggressive counterpressing, while Oliver Glasner stuck with his traditional 3-4-3, looking to build through the wide channels. This victory also marks a milestone. Rosenior becomes the first English manager to win 2 consecutive matches since Steven Gerrard in 2021. Let's break down the tactics behind Chelsea's control and Palace's struggles. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. When Crystal Palace were in deep build-up inside their own half, you would expect them, on paper, to build with a back 5, given their 3-4-3 shape. That would see wingbacks Daniel Munoz and Tyrick Mitchell dropping alongside Jadon Canvo, Maxence Lacroix, and Chris Richards. However, Oliver Glasner's side consistently built with a back 4 instead. Mitchell was the one who dropped into the defensive line, while Munoz pushed very high, almost operating as a winger. This movement was key to Palace's structure and possession. With Munoz holding the width high on the right, Ismaila Sarr was able to drift inside, occupying the right half space and effectively acting as an attacking midfielder. As a result, Palace's shape transformed from a 3-4-3 on paper into either a 4-2-4 or a 4-2-3-1 in practice. In the pivot, Adam Wharton positioned himself deeper to support ball progression. Munoz's advanced positioning caused Chelsea problems, as Palace could now create a potential 4 versus 4 against Chelsea's back line, stretching the defense horizontally. From deep areas, Wharton repeatedly looked to exploit this by playing line-breaking passes toward Johnson, Mateta, Sarr, or Munoz. To counter Palace's build-up, Rosenior adjusted Chelsea's pressing structure. Andre Santos dropped into the defensive line to prevent the back line from becoming overstretched, turning Palace's 4 versus 4 into a 5 versus 4 in Chelsea's favor. Marc Cucurella was tasked with tightly marking and pressing Munoz, even when he dropped deeper, while Benoit Badiashile stepped out aggressively to engage Sarr. In midfield, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez pressed Palace's double pivot, with Caicedo focused on Wharton and Enzo tracking Jefferson Lerma. Ahead of them, Neto, João Pedro, and Estêvão applied pressure on Palace's back line. This coordinated press forced Palace into rushed decisions, leading to turnovers or Chelsea regaining possession high up the pitch. In response, Glasner made subtle in-game adjustments. Palace began using the goalkeeper as an extra build-up option, allowing Mitchell to step into midfield and create a 3 versus 2 overload centrally. Sarr also dropped deeper at times, and this movement was twofold. It often dragged Badiashile out of the defensive line, creating space for Mateta or Munoz to run in behind and attack the space left vacant. In the final third, Palace relied heavily on crosses into the box, but these proved largely ineffective. Although Palace were reduced to 10 men after a red card in the second half, the game had already swung decisively in Chelsea's favor by that point. When Chelsea were in possession, they consistently looked to build from the back with clear positional rotations. Marc Cucurella stepped high into the left half space, converting the back 4 into a back 3 of Reece James, Trevoh Chalobah, and Benoit Badiashile. This gave Chelsea stability in rest defense, while also creating cleaner angles to progress the ball. In front of them, Moises Caicedo and Andre Santos formed a staggered double pivot, offering vertical passing lanes and protection against counterattacks. Pedro Neto held the width on the left touchline, while Estêvão stayed wide on the right, pinning Crystal Palace's wingbacks and preventing them from stepping into midfield. Enzo Fernandez operated in the right half space, which shifted Chelsea from a 4-2-3-1 into a 3-2-4-1 during the build-up phase. This structure allowed Chelsea to place 4 players between Palace's midfield and defensive lines, giving them consistent access to central progression. Rosenior's intention was clear. With Cucurella and Enzo positioned inside, Chelsea could form either a midfield box or a diamond, depending on how Palace pressed. The wide positioning of Neto and Estêvão forced Palace's wingbacks to stay deep, meaning Chelsea regularly enjoyed numerical superiority in the center of the pitch. Since Rosenior prioritizes building through the middle, this central overload ensured Chelsea always had multiple options to play through Palace rather than around them. The constant movement of Cucurella and Enzo created a dilemma for Palace. If Palace's midfielders stepped out to press them, space opened up behind the press. If they held their line, Chelsea were able to receive and turn between the lines. This made strict man-marking unstable and often led to Palace's defensive shape becoming stretched. Out of possession, Palace attempted to disrupt Chelsea's build-up with a man-to-man pressing approach. Mateta and Sarr led the press against Chelsea's back line, while also trying to block access into midfield. Wharton and Johnson matched up against Caicedo and Andre Santos. Lerma tracked Enzo's movements in the half-space, and Munoz followed Cucurella's advanced positioning. The aim was to force Chelsea into uncomfortable areas, provoke errors, and win the ball high up the pitch. There were moments when this press worked. A clear example came when Badiashile was aggressively closed down by Mateta and Sarr, leading to a turnover that put Mateta through on goal, only for Robert Sanchez to make a crucial save. This moment highlighted Chelsea's vulnerability when their center-backs are isolated under pressure, even though Badiashile was largely solid over the course of the game. To escape Palace's pressure, Chelsea relied on intelligent movement ahead of the ball. João Pedro frequently dropped into midfield to receive, dragging his marker with him and opening space for Cucurella or Enzo to attack the space behind the defense. Because Palace committed to a man-to-man press, their shape often became narrow, allowing Chelsea's back line and goalkeeper to find the wide players more easily and stretch the pitch horizontally. In the final third, Chelsea focused on creating positional triangles to break Palace's defensive structure. On the right, Reece James pushed forward to combine with Estêvão and Enzo, while on the left, Cucurella, Neto, and at times Caicedo formed similar relationships. These combinations allowed Chelsea to create overloads, generate crossing angles, and produce cutbacks into dangerous zones. Chelsea were especially dangerous in transition, with Palace often caught out of structure after losing the ball. Estevão's opening goal came from a forced error, while his assist for the second goal underlined his awareness and execution in these moments. Overall, his performance highlighted his rapid development under Liam Rosenior, as Chelsea repeatedly exploited space before Palace could reset their defensive shape. Overall, this was a controlled and intelligent performance from Chelsea. Rosenior's positional structure and possession, combined with aggressive pressing and sharp transitions, consistently put Crystal Palace under pressure and forced key mistakes. While there are still moments of vulnerability when pressed high, Chelsea's ability to dominate central areas and exploit space quickly proved decisive. If you enjoyed this tactical breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which game you want analyzed next.